Right, YouTube, Shadow King Nazru. Now I know I did a video a day or so ago talking about how I wasn't going to be reviewing across Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, aka Miles more, even though it's more of a Miles Morales movie, but whatever. And I wasn't going to be reviewing Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 game or playing it for that matter. And I listed my reasons why. And I imagine a lot of you weren't exactly thrilled about that. Know that considering I played the last game and brought some controversial issues. So instead, I decided to make it up to you guys and talk about something positive. So recently on Twitter, they Square Enix and specifically their Final Fantasy VII remake page have been releasing a developer comments on Twitter talking about what's the state of things on the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the upcoming game that will be released later this year. So this has been going on for a little bit of a week now, and I figured we could go over some of these things and talk about them. The first question was, how is development progressing on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? And which Yoshinori Kitase has said, development is progressing smoothly, and according to plan, we are currently working on nailing down a release date for the game. So it's nice that they're at a stage where things have reached a point where they can make a decision on the release date, which means they have some of the basic fundamental parts of the game down, and we could probably see what they're cooking up. So all we just need is like an official release date. So either be released late this year or early next year. Either way, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't think we're going to get any big information until after Final Fantasy 16 releases, because if they talked about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth now, while before Final Fantasy 16 was late, uh, people are going to care more about Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth because they know that's a guaranteed success because it's their most popular game, and the only one that can rival it is like Final Fantasy 6. And if they did that, nobody's going to care about Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 16, or at the very least, not as many people are going to care about Final Fantasy 16. They're just going to save their money for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. But yeah, it's nice to know the progress is going. And then we got question two. How will players journey through the world outside of Midgar and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth? To which this comes from the director, Naoki Hamaguchi, who was the co-director alongside Tetsuya Nomura of the previous game. He was the main director, and Tetsuya Nomura is now acting as creative director. Because I feel like Tetsuya Nomura right now is going to be focused more on Kingdom Hearts 4, which I imagine we're going to get some news about that sometime soon. Uh, but and they're gonna say, and his answer was, players will be able to journey across the wide and multifaceted world with a high degree of freedom, experience a myriad of different stories along the way. So yeah, I there is going to be the main story, but it's going to be very open, and it's going to feature a lot of the classic places like like the Golden Saucer, Junon, uh, so was it Nibelheim, Gungaga. I think that was what Zach's old home was. Let's see, what's another place? Fort Con. We might see Fort Condor, Mount Coral, where Barrett is from, and go over his backstory. Which, yeah, it's pretty tragic. Just giving you a heads up if you haven't played the original game. But yeah, we're definitely gonna see that. So and now, so we're gonna have plenty of places to explore. Or we're also gonna get the Nibelheim flashback, where Cloud go over his backstory with his time with Sephiroth. Although if you played Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, which is basically a remaster of that game, you know that things aren't as they seem with Cloud. So yeah, in hindsight, that was not a smart move on Square Enix part because it kind of spoiled the story for newcomers. Uh, but what I think is that basically is going to happen is that we're going to explore these areas. We're still going to have the main story, but we're going to have a lot of exploration and freedom with side content. We'll probably get to see some. I imagine it's gonna. Imagine we're gonna get some extra side story content. It's gonna kind of remind me of like The Witcher 3. There'll be some side missions that you can do, just like in the Final Fantasy VII remake. They might expand on the world and some others story. Might even get some content that relates back to the expanded universe or the or as it's called in Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy VII compilation that that ties into their side stories. But I'm not sure which one it's going to go to. But it's nice that it's not going to be too linear. There's going to be some degree of freedom. And the question 3 was, what are some of the key things to look forward to in the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth story? And this answer is coming from Kazuhuge Nojima, who is basically the writer for Final Fantasy VII. This covers the stories and scenarios. And his basically says the players will witness a chain of narrative developments that lie at the very heart of the Final Fantasy VII story, while discovering each character's destiny. So yeah, So basically, this is going back to what I was talking about. There is going to be a main story, and we're going to see some development with each of the with each of the established characters, and with some of the new characters. With some of the new characters, we'll probably see Yuffie return after we saw her in the intermission DLC. Uh, there's probably a good chance we'll see Vincent. I'm not sure if we'll see. Oh, we'll probably see Kate Sif too because we see Kate Sif before Vincent. I'm not sure if we'll see Sid though. I don't know how far this game will specifically will go considering, but we definitely know it's going to be a trilogy. So there might be a chance we could see Sid. I just hope that they I just really hope that Sid doesn't get censored and because of woke culture because Sid says and believes a lot of things that don't agree with what the woke culture believes in. But I'm really hoping to see what other character developments that the characters are going to get and how it's going to be handled compared to how it was handled in the original. Uh, I I imagine the dialogue is going to be more fleshed out um, with better dialogue. Which will really make newcomers relate to these characters and give it fans who have been with this franchise for a long time examples of what this is going to be developed. I mean, better understanding of these characters and new ways to look at them. We might even get some more development for Sephiroth, though I don't think we want to go too in depth with him because part of what Sephiroth's appeal is that there's a mystery to his character. So they got to find that right balance. Uh, and then we got the question number. Who are number 4? Yeah. Do I need to play a Final Fantasy VII remake to enjoy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? And this comes from Multiple Toriyama, and he's the co-director. So yeah, he's so Toriyama, who some of you he was, I believe he was like the one of the original directors for the first Final Fantasy game. I'd have to look back into that. And but he's more infamously known for being the director for the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. You know, the worst games in the Final Fantasy series. That let's let that hold that against him. He's also responsible for the Sector 6 segments of the game. You know, with Don Corneo, uh, the Cloud wearing a dress. Yeah, I mean, there were also fun moments, like the arenas. So, but basically, you get my point. Is that Sector Six, the Sector Six segment, which a lot of people did enjoy. That was him. That was him. He was mostly in charge of that segment of the game. But going back to what we were talking about, he's basically saying no. We have made preparations so that players who did not get a chance to play the first game can fully enjoy Final Fantasy Rebirth. So, okay, so you don't have to play the first game to have any understanding of what this game is. You can have a clean slate and go into this game fresh and still get the story and still enjoy it as much as people who play the original game. Now, I still think you should play the first game because it's really great. Um, Even though you may have difficulty with some of the secret bosses, but hey, that's what their secret bosses for. But it's good to know that people who said, "Hey, I'm not sure about playing Final Fantasy Remake, but I heard the first one was good, so maybe I'll give this new game a try." You don't have to have a pre-established knowledge. You can come in clean. And then we got number 5, which is really interesting. Says, the question was, has the battle system changed from Final Fantasy VII Remake? And this answer coming from battle director Teruki Endo. And he says, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, new comrades will join you in battle, and you can cooperate with other party members in even closer ways than before. Now that is really interesting. Because if you remember my playthrough from Final Fantasy VII Integrate, the DLC, you'll recognize that Yuffie and her partner Sonon were able to do synchronized attacks, such as the synchronized Art of War and the synchronized Windstorm. And if you were to upgrade their original weapons, you can do the synchronized limit break. Now, I'm thinking they're going to take that idea and expand upon it and put it into the other characters. So we could see synchronized limit breaks with Cloud and Tifa. Now, that would be great, especially for me and other people who ship Cloud and Tifa. That would be great. We could get combos between Cloud and Aerith if you're into that. Maybe like Aerith can use her limit break to make Cloud invincible while he does his limit breaks. Like I don't know what new limit breaks he have, but maybe like Cross Lash and Clem Hazard or Ascension as it's called in the remake. They'll probably give him like what was it, Meteor Rain or Finishing Touch. I don't know if they'll give him Omni Slash in this one. They'll probably save that for the third game because that's supposed to be his ultimate attack. Unless they give him Omni slash version 5, but he doesn't learn that move until Advent Children, which happens like 2 years after Final Fantasy VII. As for like Cloud and Tifa, we could see Cloud using his sword to help Tifa use an acrobatic move, use one of her acrobatic moves like her Dolphin Flurry or her Somersault attack or whatever technique whatever limit breaks they have. Barrett, like I'm not sure what could be done with Barrett. But Barrett will probably be doing some long range, like his big shot or whatever it was called in the remake. or catastrophe, and maybe Aerith could use her white magic to either heal him so he doesn't take damage or make him invincible, temporarily invincible. Uh, the big question is like Red 13. Is he gonna what his limit break's gonna be, and how could they be incorporated? I can see Yuffie and Tifa performing very agile and acrobatic limit breaks with each other. Uh, Tifa using her Dolphin Fury and Yuffie using her ninjutsu attacks to basically just leave a wave of acrobatic fury on the opponent. Vincent and Vincent and if they have Vincent and Barrett could do both use their guns. Barrett basically has a machine gun, while Vince is more like the rifle slash sniper. So that would be interesting how that works. So like Barrett could shoot a whole bunch of bullets at the opponent, and while there's like barely standing, uh, Vincent comes makes a cool entrance and just delivers the final kill shot. Sid, I don't know. Kate Sif, that's gonna be tricky because Kate Sif's whole gimmick is about gambling, so it had to involve dice or cards. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I trust the developers will have some idea how to make this work. As for like new comrades, I imagine it's just going to be like Yuffie, Vincent, uh, Sid, and Kate Sif because those are the ones that are missing from the roster. We'll also have our temporary team up with Sephiroth during the flashback. I'm not. It'd be. I mean, I'm not holding my breath for it, but if we got a limit breaks, a synchronized limit break between Cloud and Sephiroth, oh boy, that would be amazing. That would be internet. That would break the internet if we got to see a combo attack between Cloud and Sephiroth with maybe Cloud's cross slash and Sephiroth's octo slash. Um, but like I'm not entirely sure if we're going to be controlling Sephiroth. If we'll have the ability to control Sephiroth because in the original game, Sephiroth was controlled by the computer, and he was pretty much invincible, and he had the highest tier magics of fire, ice, lightning, earth. They were all at their highest degree, and he was like level. He was set to level 50, while Cloud was set at level 1 at the time. So yeah, that was just show the stark contrast in their skill at the time. We I think this got to go two ways. That they'll have to let the player use Sephiroth, but he'll be invincible, which won't seem all that interesting. I don't know if you'll be okay with that, or they'll make it like Sonon, where Sephiroth is controlled basically by the computer, and you can like give him commands to do things, but you're not really controlling him. So we'll have to see later how that works out. Uh, and then we have question number 6, I believe. Will Final Fantasy VII Rebirth have new original music? And this is coming from Keiji Kawamori, who's the musical supervisor. And he basically says, well, many new tracks have been created for Final Fantasy Rebirth, and we'll be making some new arrangement of tracks from the Final Fantasy Remake as well. Now, so yeah, we're gonna have some new songs. That's nice, and I really hope that they stick up to the standard of the original songs that were created by Nobuo Uematsu, who was the composer for a lot of Final Fantasy games, especially the original Final Fantasy VII. And he even came back to do the song "Hollow," which was like the ending song for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we all love that song. So I'm just hoping that these new songs are going to be iconic and Uh, if these songs are going to be iconic, if they're original, and if they're remixes of Nobuo Uematsu's soundtrack, then I hope it's going to be really good. Uh, I'm really hoping to see what they do with Sephiroth's music, like Breath of a God. I don't think we'll get. Not sure we'll get One Winged Angel because we already had that in the Final Fantasy remake. If we do that again, that's kind of cheapen it. Especially, I think we should say One Winged Angel the next time we hear it. It should be for the final game when uh when we have the final battle against Sephiroth. Let's see. And basically, question 7 is basically when can I find more about Final Fantasy Rebirth? And this is come from Tetsuya Nomura. Like I said, he's acting as creative director because his main focus is going to be on Kingdom Hearts 4 right now. And he says basically there'll be more information revealed soon. So we can look forward to it. It's definitely going to be sometime, not too long after they release Final Fantasy 16, and they say, okay, Final Fantasy 16 has been released. It's we got enough sales to say the game could be a success that we can announce Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth news, even give off a trailer, show off some gameplay, say, yeah, this won't threaten the sales of Final Fantasy 16, and this might even convince some people to buy Final Fantasy 16. But yeah, I find these news really interesting. I'm looking forward to the new characters, how they're being handled. If it's not the main crew, the main cast, maybe there'll be some characters from the expanded material, or maybe some original created characters. Um, I just really hope how they're going to be handled, how they're going to play, how the characters are going to play in this remake with their move sets expanded upon. Uh, what new material we're going to get? Very very interesting. I'm looking forward to the new music. Looking forward to the new expansion on the main story and some side content. Very 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 interested in all these sorts of things. I think I'm really looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So you guys tell me, what are your thoughts on this matter? Are you excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Does this make you even more interested? And what are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll catch you mortals later.